Welcome back. Are we all ready to get started? So if you're new for this afternoon session, my name is Laura Salzman. I'm a trainer here at CoreLogic. That was not graceful at all. We're going to go ahead and get started. We're going to talk about the search. It's all about the search. So let me get logged in here. Did everybody have a good lunch? Okay. Oh, I forgot my password a second. Here we go. Okay. Oh dear. I see myself on the screen, not the that's a little scary. Okay, so what we're going to do this afternoon is we're going to talk about searching. Because when you come to Matrix, odds are you're here to conduct some real estate searching. You're looking for homes. So that's what we're going to look at today. So within Matrix, there are 3 different ways that you can kind of do a search. And we're going to briefly talk about those 3 different ways. The first way, we talked about it earlier, was the speed bar. I'm not going to get in depth on the speed bar because I honestly think the best way for you to use the speed bar is to check on the question mark, and you're going to get this help page that will explain all of it to you. It does a much better job of explaining it than I would. But think of the speed bar as shorthand. This is a way that you can enter some shorthand information to get fast results. So the speed bar is the first way that you could do searches within Matrix. The second way is using MLS Touch, the app. So any kind of time you do something in our app, you can save it and you can access it within Matrix. So think of that as another way. But the way that we're going to talk about the most is the traditional way to search in Matrix using our search tab. When you hover over the search tab, you're going to see that different property types drop down. So we have residential, we have vacant land, we have commercial. These are just shortcuts that take you to pages with your criteria, with lots of different fields. So if you were to click on one for residential, the fields that are chosen for you are typically fields that you're going to use for residential searches. If you click on one for vacant land, what kind of fields do you think you're going to get? Fields that you would use for vacant land. You can see some are the same, some are different. But it's just a way to help save a little bit of time. Commercial, you're going to see the fields adjust just a little bit. What is consistent is all of them are kind of formatted the same way, and they all have something at the very bottom. So I'm going to show you this first. If you were to scroll to the very bottom, you're going to see this section that says additional fields add. This gives you the ability to customize this and add whatever field you need. On the left, under available fields, you have every field available to you that your MLS has said yes to. So there's lots of different things that you can add if you want to. To do it, you just highlight it and select add. And it kind of takes it from the available fields box and puts it over to the selected fields box. You can add as many as you want. If you pick one and you get this little bar, it's just saying, hey, that's already there. You don't want to add it because it's already listed. And then hit back, and they're always going to be down here at the bottom. So that is a way that you can customize each of these pages. The thing to keep in mind, like right now, we're on commercial. Whatever I add to commercial stays on commercial. It's not going to suddenly show up on my residential page. When I go to residential, I'm going to click on residential. You can, and I'm going to just scroll all the way to the bottom. You can see I've added a lot of different things here. So I like to show you that up front so that when you are conducting your search, if you see something that you want to search by and you don't see it listed here, just scroll to the bottom and you can, odds are, find it here. If you can't find it under available fields, it's not available. So call in. No. Sorry, Lynn. It means it's not an option, so, you just have to search for something else. Okay, so let's go ahead and get back to our different, we're gonna start with residential. That's what I think most of us use. Do note that the same tips and tricks work in each of the different property types. So the first thing that you see when you log in here is here's our fields. I want to draw your attention to, we have 3 tabs here. We have criteria, and we're on the criteria page. We have a map field, a map tab. When I click on that map tab, it takes me to a map. You can search directly from the map if you wanted to. And then we have our results page, which is where we're going to see our results. So the first thing we're going to do is I'm going to show you the map page first. If you wanted to search from a map, you can. Sometimes we have clients that have specific areas that they want to live in. So if you knew that you had a client that, let's say, only wanted to work in, I'm going to draw a radius here. Oops. Of this little area. Well, okay, so now you can see that I can adjust the size as well. But you can see as you draw it bigger, more searches are going to pop in. Let's say that you have a couple and they both have their own little area that they want to work in. Well, come on, work with me here. Why is that not? Okay, fine, we'll do a squared. I'll just do a pencil. Well, now I get the rectangle. They want to work here. So we have client 1 wants to work here. Client 2 wants to work here. Unfortunately, there's no listings where it intersects. But you do, here I'm going to do include intersection only. And there's nothing listed there because there's no listings. But anyway, it's just a way that when you're on the map page, you can use the different map tools. We can draw a radius, rectangle, polygon, freehand it to create your shapes. And sometimes that's helpful to go ahead and start with the map search and then switch to the criteria search to whittle down. Do you see here how under map search, we have it in red, map area selected? That is to let you know, hey, you've got a map search in here. Let me take off this one. And I'm going to pop over to the criteria page. We have 21 matches already. In the bottom left-hand corner is where you're always going to get your results. So we have the 21 matches because we have the map area selected. I'm going to clear that map. And it's black now. And now we're back to all of our results. Keep that in mind. If for some reason your results are turning up wonky and you've been on the map search, that way it's a reminder of, hey, you've got a map search enabled. It also lets you know that you have connected to an address. If you wanted to, you can connect to an address. So I've hit my location and you can see it's turned red. And we're in that map search. We want to do mileage. We can add that in. Let's see if we got any results. We have 87 miles. So there's different ways that you can search using the map. But I always like to start with criteria. And again, I'm still connected to that map search, so I want to clear that off of there. When you're working with criteria, just a couple of tips. The way that Matrix works is we always have question marks. First of all, if you have questions about anything, if you hover over these question marks, you're going to get some help. But when you're dealing with ranges, and we talked about this earlier today, you can do 4 plus means that number and higher, 4 minus would be that number and lower, and then a range would be 4 to 5. We have this handy dandy button here on your pricing. If you're dealing with prices, instead of typing in all the thousands, when this box is checked, it's assuming that you're working in thousands, so you don't have to list those 3 zeros. So you can see right now I have 100 in here, so the system is reading it as 100,000. And we have, bottom left corner, 3 matches. If I uncheck that, we get 0 matches because now the system thinks it's $100. Usually the only time you wouldn't want this is when you're with rentals. When you're talking about rentals, you are working with hundreds. So again, always make sure that this is checked. so that you're getting those results and you're not having to type all those extra numbers. So we're going to start our search by price. We're going to look for properties in that $800 to $1 million price range. And on the left, we're going to start with status. We have active status or pending status. If you want to look for solds, you would just check solds. Anytime that you come in here, you can customize it by number of days. So this is looking for solds, 0 to 180 days. Maybe you want to change it to 90 days. My recommendation is to always do it by number of days if you're going to save searches, so it keeps it like the consistent number of days. Oops, I didn't mean to get the results. If the other option is you can do it by date range. And what I mean by keeping it the same number of days, let's say you're looking for solds and you want 90 days, the last 90 days. If you're choosing number of days, it's always going to give you the results for the last 90 days, no matter when you are looking at those results. If you put in the calendar date, it's going to give you those results for those specific calendar dates, if that's what you're looking for.
Is there an option somewhere that you can say last 6 months, last 3 months, go back, a year?
Oh, under.
So you don't have to do the math.
No, there's not an option hidden that I know about. If you're looking to, are you talking about for solds or just for any of them?
Any of the search criteria.
Your easiest way is if you want to do last 6 months is just to know it's 180 days. Yeah. If you want to do 3 months, it's going to be 0 to 90 days. That would be the easiest way, is just to keep them in those numbers. I know. So we're going to keep it on active. We're just going to look at active listings today. But I did want you to know that you can adjust all of this. And then when you get to your property type, we're going to stick with single family. I'm not going to go over all of the different fields that you see here. What I think is important to note is you do have options to include or not. So the way I have this marked here is I'm looking for single family, or I'm going to look for duplex, and you can notice my number is going to change, or I'm going to look for a cabin. That's going to mean that I'm going to get results that include all 3 of those choices. Okay. Now, the other option that you had, let me go back, would be criteria is what I need to push, is the not button. So let's say that I'm going to do everything but not single family. So now it's giving me everything but single family. So that's kind of how those buttons work there. But I do want single family. Levels the same way. The rules as far as what all of these things mean, that's an MLS question, not a matrix question. So if you have questions about what is a bungalow, what is a Cape Cod, that kind of thing, reach out to your MLS for that, because they're going to have that information. What I'm here today is just to kind of show you how to use and manipulate all of this information. So we have our single family. Oh, I'm going to take all this off. We don't want that. And we just want active. And we're in that 800 to $1 million price point. I'm going to go ahead and do bedrooms, and I'm going to want 4 bedrooms or more. This particular client will take anything that has at least 4 bedrooms. So I'm going to put 4+. And they want something that has 4 or more bathrooms. So now I'm to 127 matches. I still want to whittle this down a little bit more. Because I love basements, they want a house with a basement. So we're going to hit yes. So now we've got 21. Now, obviously, if you're doing a search for your clients, I would say search by your client's non-negotiables. Meaning, if your client wants a house with a basement, include that in your search. If your client wants a 3-car garage, include that in your search. If they kind of think they want plantation shutters, but they're not sure, don't search by plantation shutters. I don't even know if that's an option, but I'm a big believer in don't narrow your search too much, because you might leave something out because a listing agent didn't necessarily list it the best way. You can always whittle down and come back later, but that's just my own kind of 2 cents worth there. But obviously, if the schools were an issue, or, search by your clients' non-negotiables. Well, we've got a result. Yes, ma'am.
Quick question on that.
Yeah.
It's over here, it says levels, 1, 1.5. So if you choose level and you want one level house right here where you are,
Mhm.
but you go over here, it also has a number of stories. So are those gonna populate each other, or do you put it in one place, not the other, or put it in the?
Well, so this is, so if we put it in levels here, we get 0 results. If we put it in stories here, we get 3 results. And this is what would be my guess. Some agents probably fill this out, some agents probably don't. So I would rely less on this, because if an agent hasn't filled it out, it's not gonna pull it. So in the same, let's see what it's for the number of stories, it's gonna give you the same range. And again, I don't know what your input rules are, meaning what is mandatory that has to be inputted. Not all of these fields are gonna be mandatory inputs. So again, it kind of goes back to your information, like how is it getting, if it's not been inputted, then you're whittling out a search by trying to get too in depth. So,
I just didn't know if you needed to fill it,
I-
but I've run into such one.
okay. Whoops, okay. Yes, we started on our dashboard, or when we first logged in, we went to our search and I went to residential. This matrix, so you mean just, I'm gonna go back, this screen entirely?
Yes.
Okay, so the first time when you log in, you're gonna log into like my triangle dot, Lynn, I can never remember your old.
trianglemls.com.
Yes.
And there.
And then you're gonna, oh, she's gonna help you there. So once you get past that initial login stuff, this is the dashboard page that we get to. Well, hopefully, okay. And let me go back to our criteria here. All right, so once you've decided on your criteria, then we're gonna get our results. Oh, I need to whittle this down a little bit more. Let's do a basement. And let's say subject to an HOA. Whoa, that got rid of all of our results. Oh, and if anytime, do you see how I have all of this in blue? So I've marked yes, I've not. If you need to clear things out, you're gonna hit Control and hit the part that above the yes to clear something out. A couple other things. Under city, you can start typing the names and it's gonna give you a drop-down list. So you can continue to type the name, or you can just go down and hit the city. And you can do the same with counties. Well, again, just simple. A lot of these things you're just going to see as you start working how it works. Okay. We've got our results. Oh, I cleared all sorts of stuff out. Let me put in some more bathrooms. 45 results. That's good enough. So after you're finished with selecting your criteria, you're going to hit results and it's going to come to our display page. If you wanted to, you could view the results on the map and you would just hit the map button. And at this point, this way it lets you see where all of these results are coming in from. And if you know your client doesn't want to be far out, you can go ahead and add a map search if you wanted to. So we're going to draw in a shape. Even though I have criteria, I know my client only wants to live right here. And so now I've added another search level onto this map and my results have shrunk to 21. So now I want to go to results and I can see all of my results listed here. At this point, you have lots of different options of what you want to do. The first thing that you see is, we call this our agent single line display. This is by default, the categories or the columns that you're going to see. If you want different information displayed here, you can customize it and make it what you want. By default, it's always going to look like this. You can, within the system, you can move columns around. The way that I move a column around is I get that little crosshair button and I click down on my mouse and I just drag and drop. So let's say that you want the county to go at the very end. You also have the ability to remove columns or add columns. So let's say I don't care about this information. So I'm going to hover over it. Whoops. And I'm going to left click and I'm going to hit remove column. So now I've taken that column away. Well, let's say that you want to add a column. So I'm going to hover over any column. I'm going to left click. I'm going to insert column. And it's going to be kind of similar to what we did when we were inserting the fields other places. You can choose from this list of what you want to see. I want to see high schools. It went away. Let me try that again. Insert column. You can scroll and look, or you can search. So I'm going to start with high school, and you can see how it's just going to start popping up everything that I have. So I'm going to insert high school. So now I'm going to see the names of the high schools. I chose high school just because that's what I used to do when I was an agent. I didn't necessarily want to omit by high schools. Like you can, I could have done a search criteria for one particular high school or two particular high schools. I didn't want to do that, but I definitely on my display want to see the name of that high school. So the display is here for you to customize so you see the information that you want to see. When you click on display and hit that arrow, you can see there's actually a lot of displays already made for you. Anything that has the word my in front of it means I created it myself. I saved it that way. And you can do the same thing. If you want to save your display, you're just going to go to manage displays, which is that little pencil, whoops, and name it and save as a copy. And now when I go to my displays, I can see my new display here. The reason why you might want to know this information is you may not want to always just use the default. And the default again was agent single line. You may love that. Now, did you notice it didn't go back to the normal? That's because anytime you're in the system using it, it won't reset it unless you hit the reset button. So now I'm back to the agent single line. I did not know for years that I could actually adjust this. I just thought I had to take what was given to me. I didn't know I could change it. And quite frankly, when you're a newer agent, you don't know that you would want to change it. It's kind of like, why would I want to change it? But one thing that I figured out very quickly where I lived was showing information was important because especially the last couple of years, I was an agent. Whenever I scheduled showings, I had broker bay, showing time, and call an agent. And rather than having to read every single listing, I created a display page which told me who I needed to contact to make an appointment. And it was just that fast where I took my houses that I was going to go show, I put it into my display, I could see that information. So I would say to you, be creative, make displays for however you use information, and it could be different. You may have a display sheet that you want to see when you're looking at comps. So you could make a display that had, Laura's comps. And so that display is only going to show that. You may have a buyer comp, a buyer page where you're looking at properties for buyers and you want to see certain information. Whatever it is, do note that Matrix allows you to customize it so that your display is exactly what you want, not what we're telling you have to use. Okay, so to insert the column, wherever you want the column, you're going to hover over any of these. So let's say that we want it here by the high school. And you see how I went from a pointer finger to a crossbow kind of cross thing? When I get that crosshair, I'm going to left click and this box will show up. So within this box, I can choose to insert a column, remove a column. I can adjust this particular column. I can adjust let's center it. Let's, so now all that's centered. If you want to move columns to different locations, you just get the little crossbow thingies, left click and drag it to wherever you want it to go. Which can be, the more you're in here, the more you're working with it, you're going to find you have things that you like. And you're going to find things that you care less about seeing, so delete them, get them off of there. Some of the presets that you can choose from are the, like I said, the agent single line is by default, what's always going to pop up. But I like, maybe you want photo one-liner. Let's see what that one looks like. So with this one, you get to see a little picture and then this information. Let's see what agent single line sold looks like. So you can see all these different, they just look different. Photo gallery. There you go. This is going to take you to each listing, just their pictures. So then you can click next, and it's going to take you to the next listing, and you can see all their pictures. So if you visually like to look at things, this is just a fast way to get to go through the pictures. This is where I recommend, oh, that's really lovely. That's a great shot. Come in here and play. You guys can't break Matrix. Push buttons, see what it does, create things, see what you can do with them. You're not going to break anything. Okay, so let's go ahead and get back to, and again, I told you before, I always have like a reset button in my head. I do the same thing on display. So we're going to put it back on that agent single line. So the next thing I want to show you that you can do, we still have our search results, right? We still have these 21 results that we got from our searches. Whenever you highlight any result, it can be one or more than one, it unlocks our action buttons across the bottom. The action buttons will work for one or more than one listings. I'm just going to let's just do 10 here. So the first action button is criteria. That's going to take you back to that criteria page. The second action button is email. Let's say that you would just want to email these specific listings to a client. It's going to take you to our little email program, and you're just going to walk through the steps of filling out an email. You're going to attach it to a client. We're going to stick with Rosie June. If, for instance, this is a brand new client, you could create a new contact just from there. If you want to receive a copy of this email, you can keep that checked. If you don't want a copy of it, then just uncheck it, fill out the subject, type a message, and send to your client. And that's it. That's how you email individual listings under the email button. So that wasn't connected to a save search or anything. That was just, we sent her 10 listings. The other things that you can do to it, you can choose to print out listings. Under the print function, we have lots of different modes of printing. Keep in mind, the printer is only going to be as big as the printer that's connected to your computer. So if you want certain size paper, make sure your printer holds certain size paper. I had a question once about at the office, we could print on 11 by 17 or something, and I get home and I can't do it. And I'm like, well, because your printer isn't the same. So it's kind of funny sometimes the questions that you'll get. But again, here's how you print things. You all can read all of your different options. I do like too that you can print to PDF rather than printing to paper, and then you can save that PDF as a file and email that file. You even see you can email the PDF. Okay, our next action button is share a link. This just creates a URL that you can copy and paste with those listings. Anybody with that URL can then go view those listings. So I'm going to copy that URL. Let's open it up in another window. Let's paste it in another window, and let's see what those results look like. It's going to show me those results in OneHome, because remember, OneHome is where clients see results. So you can use that URL anywhere. You can post it on social media, you can email the URL, whatever you want to, but you're able to create those URLs in Matrix. Oops, now I got to remember where my thingy is. Oh, here we are. So that was the share link button. The CMA, we've already talked about how to make a CMA. The direction button, I love the direction button. Let's pretend that these 10 are showing. So I'm going to go out showing clients homes. It's going to show them to me on a map in what it feels like is the best driving route automatically. You can obviously come in and adjust it if you want to. You can flip them around, but I love that it gave me, here's where I think you need to go. Because sometimes we just don't know the right order and how to drive and see all these listings. The direction button will do that for you. The other thing I loved about the direction button is not only does it tell me how to do it, it gives me the times, the distances between. So you know how when you're making showing appointments, you're going to start at 10 o'clock at this house and you're going to look for about 30 minutes and then you have to go to the next house where it's like a 15-minute drive, kind of helping you just time out how you're going to make those appointments. This is one of the few pieces of paper I actually ever printed. I wanted to have the driving directions on paper just in case my phone failed me. And I would write any kind of notes on this paper when it came to showing appointments. Was it a super box? Was it a code? This was my little cheat sheet. So I would print it out. But that's just what I did. But that was under the directions button. The stats button is just going to give you stats of this information you have in front of you. I'm going to export if you want to send it to a CVS file. You can export the information. Quick CMA. I love the quick CMA. It does exactly what it says. It's a quick CMA. We've highlighted 10 results. It's going to put all of these on one page. It's easy to read with pertinent information. The information that is listed, you don't get to choose. This is what is given to you. If it included sold listings, it would also include the sold information as well. Very useful page for your clients. I would use this a lot more than I used my full-blown CMAs. The full-blown CMA that we talked about earlier, I used a lot as here's the documentation, here's where I arrived at some of these numbers. I would use this quick CMA when I was wanted to have everything on one page for them to see. Yes, ma'am.
You're saying those are not sold? It doesn't give you the sold?
Right, these are active listings that we're looking at.
Okay.
So, there is no sold, but let me just go find a sold listing so that you can see what I mean. So let's pop back over to criteria. Let's do a pending, let's do a sold. And now let's go to results. And I'm going to grab a couple of actives. And then let's go grab a couple of, here's a pending. And then let's go grab a couple of solds. And then we're going to hit quick CMA. And that way you'll get to see how it's formatted. So we have all of our actives. It's always going to keep it grouped like together. So we have all of our actives. We have all of our pendings. So it's the same information. And then once it's sold, meaning it's closed, then you get that sold information. So this is very helpful when you're on a listing appointment and you have your quick CMA of all of your comps. I mean, you've got that other information, but I loved this because my clients could very easily see, okay, here was the list price, here was the sold price, here's that ratio. Remember back in the day when this was like 110, 120, when it was crazy? And then you can see that sold price and then the dates. So that's what I mean by how it has the sold information if it's a sold listing. Very, very helpful tool. I use that button probably more than anything else. And then the last two buttons, the 3-up comparison is just going to take the properties that you've selected and put them three together. So you're able to compare them just side by side. And then the last button is showing time. And I'm probably not going to be able to connect because I'm not in showing time, but it would connect to your showing time account so that you could go ahead and schedule those listings or those buyer appointments. Okay, so all of that are action buttons. All of that is what lit up down here in green. The other button I want you to see is your refine button. This is where you can refine the results that we talked about. So you can refine it by contact, meaning when I select a contact, we're going to stick to Rosie. it's going to bring up Rosie's information in the sense that I can see, have I ever emailed any of these to my contacts? And it's no, I never have. I never use the refine button, but I think it's interesting because you could be doing a search for one client and it's very similar to another search. And you just want to pop over and be like, hey, did Rosie see this one? Or did Mr. Miss Smith see that one? You can do that as well. You can also refine by narrowing down the search. Oh, so whenever you hit narrow, it's going to take away the ones that you didn't want. And then you can do the same thing. Well, I'm still stuck over in Rosie's. In let me take her off of here. Hold on. There we go. So, and if you wanted to discard, same thing, highlight and discard. So just a different way to get rid of results. And then if you change your mind, you can undiscard. I'm going to pop to carts and then I'm going to come back to save. Carts, we've talked about a little bit. If you wanted to take these results that you have and save them to a cart, you can use the drop down and find the cart that you want to put them in. You can make as many different carts as you want. We're going to add this one to Laura's carts. If you wanted to create a new cart at this point, you could just hit new cart. The new name is going to be triangle. Whoops. Oh, I cannot type today. If I wanted to link it to a contact, I would. Or if I just wanted it for myself, I would leave that blank and hit save. That's how easy it is to make a new cart. Okay. And then let's go back to the save button. Because more than likely, when you've done all this time to find a search, to find results, you're doing it because you want to send it to a client. So you're going to hit the save button. You have 3 options within save. You can do a new saved search. When I do that, I can name the search. I'm just going to come up with random names, add it to a contact. And then it's saving this criteria, and this is the name of the search. And I'm done. Those results didn't go anywhere. I didn't send them anywhere. All I've done is I've saved that search. If I want to access them, I go to my saved search list. Oh, it's thinking. And I called that one test 44, and I can pull them up from there. And I can get those results. Okay. So that's what saving it a search does, or saving the results does. Now, if I wanted to set up for a client, let's just do a new quick little search of just $500,000 price house. I get my results. I'm going to save this because I want it to go as a new auto email. So I'm going to click new auto email. This is probably what you're wanting to do. These are the auto emails. This is where anytime there's a new addition to the search, it's going to send that email out to your client. So you're going to select your clients. Rosie has been sent things before. If it's a brand new client, they're going to get a new email sent to them. Make it test 44. Remember earlier today, we talked about concierge mode. This is where you select concierge mode. So this save search that I have for a client, I have options in how I'm going to send it to her. I can schedule the emails so that she gets the emails ASAP, meaning if something new hit the market, she will get an email immediately. Or I could send her daily emails that can come out every day in the morning or every day in the afternoon, or, a combination of what. This is where you have the conversation with your client. How do you want to get the information? Do you want it ASAP? Do you want one email a day? Do you want it monthly? Let your client tell you how they want it. However, if your client says to you, I want you to preview these, and I only want to have houses that have purple front doors. Can you run a search for purple front doors and eliminate things? You can't. There is no way the system can eliminate purple front doors for you. So you would want to enable concierge mode and notice that everything else disappeared. Because now what happens is it's going to send you those listings first and you get to approve them. And so that's what setting things up in concierge mode does. I recommend that you also check, send me a notification. The system will send you, real estate agent, a notification saying, hey, Rosie June's got some concierge mode things that you need to go approve. And then you're going to hit go to approvals. And the first thing that's going to come up are, these are all of the listing results. Now, as the real estate agent, I get to come in here, and since she's looking for purple front doors, I'm going to look for houses with purple front doors. So I would go through here, and I mean, obviously I'm being silly with the purple front door, but you know, whatever the criteria is as to why you would want to send your client something, you get to preview them and you get to decide on what goes and what stays. So you can highlight it. You can do it one at a time. Yes, this one goes. I'm hitting approve selected. Oh, nope, that's ugly. I'm going to reject that one. She would not like it, and so forth and so forth. You can also do it from the single line and highlight whatever. Reject those, send the rest, and you're done. One of the things that I've seen how clients misuse the system is they set up a search for their clients. They have the results go to their personal email. So like, I'm real estate agent, I make a search for Lynn and I title it Lynn's Houses. And I put my email address in there. And that comes to me and I preview it and I look at them and then I forward that to Lynn. That's the wrong way. You need to set things up under your client's name. And if you want to preview them, use concierge mode. Any questions about that? How it works? Yes. Okay. Anytime you've made your selections for when you're sending a safe search, let me start that sentence over. We have our search results. Whenever you do a new auto email, you're going to fill out your new auto email form. And when it comes time to schedule it, you're going to select concierge mode. That gets rid of the scheduling. So it's on that page under new auto email. And you can have a client that has searches set to concierge mode or searches that are automatic. It's all dependent on the search. So you can have a client that has it both ways. Anything else on the concierge mode? This is one of the things that I've noticed that people who've been in Matrix a long time sometimes don't even know that this is an option. Yes, ma'am.
Sorry, I think I may have lost you and hopefully I'm not the only one.
No, okay.
So you said that you should put your client's email address in so that your search for the system goes to that.
Yes.
First, but if you want to see it, you put it in concierge mode, but then it's not gonna go to them, it's gonna come to you, right?
It'll come to you in the sense that you get alerted, hey, you have approvals that need to be made.
So they're not, so your customer though is not gonna see those until you approve.
Correct. So you only use concierge mode if you as the agent are willing to do that step. If you are not willing as an agent to approve listings, do not use concierge mode because they won't get them. And I say that with, they're hiring you to send them results. Talk to them. How do you want your results? Here are my options. Do you want them automatically? Do you want them daily? Do you want them monthly? How do you want them? Let them tell you. I very rarely used concierge mode as an active agent. The few times I used it were they did not want a west-facing backyard. In Texas, you don't want a west-facing backyard because summers sucks. sorry, I have one, it's hot. And I'm sure here there's something with mountains and where you're supposed to face. I don't know what direction's the right direction, but there's no way that you can eliminate results based on west facing backyard. You know, that's just not in the system. So I had to set concierge mode and I had to look at the map for every single listing to see if the home was positioned in an acceptable manner. If it was, I sent that listing. That was a very high maintenance client. Okay,
That's okay, so you only use it when they have really like odd or specific.
that would be my advice. That would be my advice. However, what I have seen are some agents are a little controlling and they like to look at every single thing before they send it out. And so what they were doing is they would set up the search, send it to themselves as the contact, and then forward it. And that's not how it's set up to work correctly. So you can still be controlling and look at every single listing if you want to, but who's got time for that? Yeah. I mean, you guys,
The logical way to be.
I get to look at every single listing.
And then just to forward it along.
Well, but this way it'll come, this is what's so great is when you're in your dashboard, let me show you how it looks. When you're in the dashboard, you're going to be alerted. You see how there's a couple of different ways that you're alerted. Why didn't it go to dashboard? Oh, not that home button. Crud. Hold on. Well, we got to start over here. Sorry, guys. When you're in your dashboard, let me get in here. Remember how I talked about how you have concierge mode? So like, this is how I would do this. If I were a real estate agent, it's Monday morning, I come into work, it's time for me to see what's going on. I logged into Matrix. First thing that I always checked, Market Watch, take a peek at it. I would look at my recent one-home visitors, no activity going on. Oh, concierge mode. I've got clients I got to take care of. I'm going to look at Marshall. He's got 22 listings that I need to look at. I'm going to click on Marshall and I'm going to do a really quick scan of these houses and be like, okay, yep, that one looks good. Let me look at the next one. Yep, that one looks good. Let me look at the next one. Oh, love that one. That one looks good. Let's pretend I've gone through all of those. Yep, they all look good. I'm going to approve all 22 and I'm done. They've been sent to Marshall. Marshall gets the email, hey, new listings from your real estate agent. He goes and opens it and looks at them. Time for me to look at Rosie June's listings. Oh, let's look at Rosie June's listings. All of these are terrible. I'm going to reject them all. Rosie June gets nothing. I've done my due diligence as a real estate agent and previewed them and sent them on to her. So on and so on and so on. You now have a record too of what you looked at for your clients, what was sent, what was available. If you did it the way where agents were sending them to their own personal email, you've intermingled and just, you know, kind of messed up a bunch of stuff. But that's how concierge mode works. It's not for every client. It's not for every agent. The system has it there for you to use if need be. Okay. Any questions? Any other questions about that?
That's very helpful, because what you just said, you automated your business, and you didn't let the automation go past you without adding a personal touch.
Yeah.
It's prompting you for the
Yeah.
action of the day.
Yeah.
And it's actually customer touching action.
Yeah. That's a great way to look at it.
That's great.
Yeah. So I mean, I like it. It's there for you to use. And then, you know, and then now you know that your customer is getting the right houses.
Mhm.
Okay. So let's go back to some results here. Remember when we do our searches, we pick our criteria, we do a price. I just keep switching things around on us. Basements. There we go. 30 of them. And at this point, if I wanted to save that, we're back to that new auto email. Again, this is how you send all that. And then send them off again. And then the other option you could do here is save it as a speed blower, which we talked about before. Okay, so that is the gist of how you do search for properties within Matrix, how you can see them in Matrix, and then what you do with them afterwards. So in a nutshell, it's like, here's your criteria, here's where you find them, here's sending them out. Yes, ma'am.
The search.
Okay,
I just chose a neighborhood in Leverage.
okay, here, hold on, let's just do it together.
The neighborhood in our area is subdivision, that's what we're used to, and subdivisions are a big deal around here, a lot of us are subdivision.
Okay,
But what I ran into was at first the code only, one sold property in the last many years.
Okay.
I know it's incorrect.
okay,
So instead, I took out the subdivision and I just drew a polygon around that particular neighborhood, in which case then I came up with 21
uh-huh,
properties within that time period. I go into the properties and the subdivision is blank for all of them. So it means some data has not translated from where we all originally put it in to the matrix system here.
okay, and that would be a question for your MLS. I don't know that they're in here.
I'm not aware of that, but
Yeah.
that is fair.
Yeah, because there is, and this is way beyond my understanding of mapping and how things go, but you're right. When all of the data has been collected together, what it read in, say, system A, and now how system B is reading it, what are those definitions and how is that mapped to there? That is not something that you and I can control. But I would recommend send them an email so they know, so they can look into it and see like, where is that mistake happening? How is it flagged? Why is it not coming over? Or is it something that's not included anymore? Those would be all questions that they would have. Yeah,
This is a big deal for us.
yeah. I mean, because you're right. So like, give me a name of a subdivision.
Leverage.
Glen,
LENRIDGE.
there it is.
So if you search in like the last 900 days of what's sold, you're gonna get like 1 or 2 properties because somehow, some way that agent input that data field.
Yeah, you get one result.
But all the other properties, the other 20 are not showing up because subdivision is.
Glenridge is in there twice in the subdivision list, one as a single word and another time as 2 separate words.
2 words.
Even then, just think about, data fields, if it is blank for Glenridge, all the other 20 say blank for subdivision, then it really doesn't matter whether it was Glenridge.
But did you try it both ways?
If it's showing up blank, when you look at the results, like when I mapped it out,
Right.
and then I look at each of those houses, it says subdivision blank.
Lynn,
Yeah.
So it doesn't matter if it's 2 words or 2 words, it's just not being a subdivision
Right.
at all.
I know. I know.
Lynn is subdivision required field.
It makes its word.
Yes.
Right. And so they get that fixed, probably your best workaround would be to do exactly what you said. Go to a map search. And I know that I'm not really drawing in the correct subdivision. I recognize this here, but let's pretend that this is Brookhaven subdivision. And so here's my Brookhaven map search, right? So I'm going to save this as a new saved search. And I'm going to call it Brookhaven subdivision, and I'm saving it. Okay, so now I have a map search that I like the criteria. Yes, I want everything in here. So I'm going to come in tomorrow, new work day. I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to start with my new save search, which I could have saved it on my favorites. So we've got Brookhaven subdivision. So now I can start and add my criteria. Well, let's say that I only Oh, I didn't realize I'd put that in there. You know, you can, what I wanted to show you is you can have that as a saved search as your starting point and then come in and start adding criteria from there to get results. So it's one way for you to have that. And I know that that would be a lot of work to save individuals every time. Or if you wanted to come in each time and draw your exact maps H until the data configuration gets fixed. Okay.
Is it possible that Flint Ridge is not in the IDX database or as a label, or that label is not being built across the matrix yet?
And is Flint Ridge, is that what is that?
This neighborhood you were talking about?
Oh.
Glen Ridge.
Glen Ridge.
I'm sorry. Glen Ridge.
Oh, okay.
Is it possible that's not in the IDX database as a label, or is it possible that we're not pulling that label across?
I'm not exactly sure how all that works on the back end.
Be a question for support. So
Yeah.
email support@trianglemls.com and let them research it so that they can figure out what's going on.
Yeah, because imagine like the way I kind of try to make sense of some of this in my head is, let's say Paragon and Matrix, let's say, and I'm completely making up words here, but Paragon calls it blue, Matrix calls it azul, and then now we've got this new thing, it has to be mapped, and anytime you see the word blue, it goes to teal. Anytime you see the word azul, it comes to teal, and sometimes those roads get tangled up, and that sounds like what needs to get addressed. And can you tell I've never had technical training in computer background stuff? Okay. Questions. Let's spend some time. Questions about searches? What doesn't make sense? What do you wish it could do? What does it not do? You know, this is your time to ask me anything that I can be of assistance.
How do you search in here and then output it to labels within Matrix?
Okay, Matrix does not print labels. However, I'm saying that out loud. Let me double check. Because our only print function, you would be more interested in probably realist for what what would be my guess as to what you're wanting to do. But I do want to double check, because what you could do, let me go grab a result. Let's just go back to this one.
You'd have to like that results to a CSV or something like that.
If you, in Matrix, remember when you print in Matrix, you have all of these settings that you can print from.
Yes.
Yeah, so yes, we do not print labels in here, so you would have to export that information and make your own labels. If you were wanting to do labels, you could do a search in Realist. Realist does print my own labels for you.
Thank you.
Mhm. All right, yes, ma'am.
I don't understand, is there like a list that tells them?
Oh, these little thing, okay. Yeah, if you hover over it, it says consolidated. So this is, I don't know what this is one of your external things. It's this thing, data co-op. Alamant, this is, I guess this might be part of the old Alamant system. And disappear. So Alamance was the original board that I guess they merged with y'all. Is that how it worked? Like,
We absorbed
okay.
Alamance MLS, and they were using the matrix system already. And so we didn't relabel the URL. You notice the URL says Alamance in it, so.
It's because so like the original matrix system for Alamance is still being used for Triangle, and that was the original starting point. So if you hover over any of these labels, it will tell you what it will do. So like this one to documents, it's going to take you to the documents that the agent has loaded. History is another one. It's going to take you to the history of the home. This DCC and DCL, I honestly am not sure what. You do, okay. 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 Well, let's just click on it and see what we get. Market links, it's data co-op, Alamance multiple listing server. When you click on it, do you get that page? Because sometimes I'm enabled to do things that you all can't, and that's,
Yeah, I clicked on it to try to preview the report, but it didn't, it was a blank page.
okay,
Break it out.
okay. So you can kind of just think of it as a bonus tool that has been given to you. It's a Christmas gift or a birthday gift or a happy summer gift. Okay, yes, ma'am.
MLS upgraded this past time. Like, we used to be able to select all documents and then send them all to our clients all at once. Which was really handy, and then something changed, and then you had to do every single one individually. I'm looking at documents here, I don't see, it looks again to be like an individual thing. Do you know if there was a way to send all documents at once? Because sometimes properties have like 12 documents.
Right.
It's a long time to. send.
Right, like what I'm seeing here, I'm seeing the same thing. So like I'm on this listing, I'm gonna go to documents. It looks like each one of them is gonna have to be downloaded and sent. The other option, let me check really fast on something for you guys. Because what I can't remember off the top of my head is if the documents are linked in OneHome.
Oh, there you go.
Because sometimes they can see the documents in OneHome, so you don't have to worry about sending them extra. So let's see if I can remember Rosie, and I don't remember her. Let me go grab her. Oh, not I've got too many email addresses that I can't keep all this stuff straight in my head. Rosie June, let's copy your email. Okay, what we're looking at now is Rosie June's OneHome. So if your documents are linked, this house is so cute. It looks like they are not. Yeah.
About that, with documents was, is there going to come a time when we have a checkbox, sort of like we used to in Paragon? Where you didn't have to download each one of them and name and save it and then go back and email it to the client.
Right. I don't know. Normally, in some of our systems, the documents, and again, these are MLS choices, and this is something that can be addressed later. If the MLS gives permission, the documents show up right here so that your clients are able to see it within OneHome. Now, that being given, sometimes there's rules around private documents, public documents. Sometimes the system has to work within that caveat of what can be public, what can be private. As far as within Matrix, it looks like that, where did those results go? Well, it's just the, I'm trying to find a listing that has a document right quick, so what I'm trying to do.
It's just one of those time slots that.
Yeah, I understand what you're saying, because you're having to come in here and you're having to download it. And then to do each one for your client. And then whereas like if you could just highlight and download all.
Yeah.
Yes, that would be one of those, back to the suggestions. She had the suggestion earlier today, is like, and this goes back to, I'm sure there's a reason why it's configured this way. I don't know on the back end why that is, but I understand what you're saying. It's like, why can't you download all the documents all at one time instead of one at a time? Yeah.
Especially if you're used to doing it that way.
Yeah.
And this feels really bad.
It feels a lot older, yeah.
Even though there's so many other.
Yeah, no, well, exactly. You don't want to lose features of things. You want upgrades. You don't want to lose things. So I understand. I'm trying to think if there's a way that you could make it faster, but really this is it. Yeah, this is it. Okay. Any other questions?
I don't know about it, but, for my favorite search. I'm gonna be good to go on the
Okay, so anytime, so you're asking for my favorite searches, how do I get it to be displayed here? Okay, what you would do is, I'm just gonna make a new search. Anytime you make a, you have your search. Let's get our results here. When you're saving that as a new saved search and you want it on your dashboard, you're gonna click. Oh, and I have too many. You can only have up to 10, but you're gonna click enable as a favorite search on home tab.
So you go to news feed bar?
So, no, so like I just went from the search that I have. Now, like if we already had, let's see if let's go to a current search that we have, and let's see if we can adjust it. I need to like delete some of mine. Here, hold on. Let me go delete some of mine so I have more room. You can only have up to 10 on there. Nope. I gotta remember, I've never actually deleted them off of my save search.
The delete option.
Right. Yeah, let me highlight it. But anytime, I don't know that I can go to an old, there it is, I can. So so what you want to do is you want to go to your saved searches if you've already created them. Highlight the saved search that you want to display under, oh, not criteria. Under settings, you want to make sure that that enabled as a favorite search is clicked. And I can turn it off too, okay? So that's if you already have one established. I'm going to turn it. If you are making a save search from the very beginning, then you would check that box at that point. But like if you want to come in here and edit some that you already have, you go to settings. I'm going to turn some of mine off so I have more room here. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Any other questions? I'll just keep answering your all's questions until y'all want to go home. Yes, ma'am. Yeah. So the first thing I would do is if I had a brand new client, I would honestly set their contact up first. So I would first go to my contacts and I would set up a brand new client. Within Matrix, you have 3 pieces of information. First name, I need a name. We'll go Lisa Smith. And then you need an email address. And that's it. That's the mandatory information in Matrix. And then hit save. So you've got your contact ready to go. Then you're going to go to your search criteria and decide what kind of property type does my new person want? Residential, pick your property type. She wants residential. So I'm going to go to this residential search page. And then I get to start telling, you tell me, what do you want in our search? Okay, so that's going to be, so up to 500. So I'm going to put 500 and minus. So that's going to give me everything under 500. Okay. Active coming soon. We'll take off pending. Okay. Yeah, we're done to 219. Square feet. Where's your square feet button? That's it. Sometimes these things get on the, oh wait, total finished square feet. Anything else? Do they want a fireplace? We'll put 1 fireplace. Oh, we're down to 59. And then you just keep adding criteria at this point, whatever they're looking for. And let's pretend, this will be practice. Let's pretend that they want something that we don't see. So we have to add another piece of criteria. They want, I'm trying to think of something weird here. What was that? Elevator. Oh, that's a good one. Elevator. Add. I'm gonna laugh if there is one, but it's in a condo, right? So it could very well have an elevator. So so here's our elevator. We're gonna say, who thinks that we're gonna get results with elevator before I click it? Okay, let's see. Oh, look, 0. I'm gonna do a test. No, this might be a field where it's not feeding anything through. Because yes for elevator gets nothing. No for elevator gets nothing. Not marked gets 59. It's true. Yeah. So that's not a great choice, but you saw how we got to add that. And well, we're down to 59 matches. Is that good? Okay. So then we've got our 59 results. So we're going to take our results, look at the results page. And then here's where we get to the display page. So at this point, you get to decide how you're going to send these results to your clients. Are you going to look through them and handpick some? Do you want all of these to go to your clients? Are you setting them up on an auto search? Do you need to establish that? So that'd be my question is, do you want this set up on an auto search for your client? Okay. I'm so glad you remembered her name. I already forgot who we were working with. So we're going to do an auto search for Lisa. So who knows what we're going to do next? I'm going to let you all answer the question. You can if you want. You see the little arrow, you can just, it really doesn't matter because the results are going to come in. Yeah. Now remember, the results are going to come to One Home, and I'll show you what she's going to see. So we've got our results. We're going to send them in an auto search. So to do that, we're going to hit save, new auto email. And then we're going to send it to Lisa. I don't want to copy, so I'm not going to BC myself. And then this is going to be condo search. I didn't talk about this. This is default stuff here. You can edit this all you want. So you can make it say anything you want. We're going to send it to Lisa. Now, normally I would just send it to Lisa ASAP, meaning that she's going to get the email. It's scheduled. I don't have to do anything about it. For today, I'm going to send it concierge mode because it goes through the system faster and we can see the results faster, because I want you to see what it looks like in One Home. But you can send it either way. You can send it concierge mode, or you can send it ASAP. Since I am doing concierge mode, I've got to approve these again. Yes, they all go to her. And I'm done on my end. I've set her up. I've sent her this stuff. Approved 59 lease went to her. Okay. So now let's be Lisa. So let's go check Lisa's email. So we're going to type in her email address. And so here is that email that we just sent her. And this is why I set it up on concierge mode. Had I set it up on auto email and done a schedule, it takes about 10 minutes or so to get all the way through. I wanted y'all to see it faster than that. So Lisa's going to open up her email. Welcome to One Home. Hey, Lisa, this is all that stuff that we could have edited. You can see where I changed it just a smidge. She's going to view the properties. This is because I'm logged in again. So now we're into Lisa's. And here are all of those 59 results. And this is what she sees, which is way prettier, right? You know, I mean, I think Matrix is great and awesome, but Matrix to me looks like work and One Home looks like fun. And we want our clients to have pretty, we want them to have a pleasant experience. So now we're in Lisa's page. She's looking. Let's say that Lisa really loves this condo and she wants to make it a favorite. She can't do that yet because she hasn't created a password. We have two different accounts in One Home. We have the unactivated and activated. Activated just means it's protected by a password, and they can make create their own searches. They can, they can save searches. They can mark favorites. It connects them to you in Matrix. If they don't want to make an account, they don't have to. They just can't save anything. They can still view everything. Are y'all familiar with One Home? Have you seen One Home before? Oh, well, here, let me just go through this real fast so you can see it. So this is what they're seeing. When we talked about branding a long, long time ago at the beginning of the day, here's some of that branding information where that shows up. This is branded to One Home right now. If your branding is set up, it should be branded to you. To set up the colors, you do it in an odd spot. If you do it in MLS Touch, the app. Only logo and colors. Everything else is set up in Matrix. So if you have questions about that, I'll explain that part later. But all of the listings come to them. They can click on them. They each have a listing card. They can scroll through, see all the information, tons of stuff that they're going to be able to see. They're going to be able to see the photos, all that kind of good stuff. We have extra little tools that they can use. They can do a comparison. We have buttons for sending notes. We've not made an account yet, so that's not going to work just yet. So it's to me, it's a very easy system for our clients to be able to look through and get the results. Let's say that she decides to make the account, and you can see here, she can activate an account. All they have to do to activate an account is put in their name and a password. It's already using the email that they gave you because you send it to them an email. That's the connecting point, is the email. So Lisa's just going to put in her first name, her last name, make a password. Oops. Agree to it. Activate account. Yay, she signed in. Woohoo. Now she's got to log in. Oops. Okay, and it's going to look the same. The big difference that you see is now, instead of it saying activate account in the upper right-hand corner, it has her name. She can manage her account. One of the tools that we have in One Home that I think is fun is this property fit preference. This is a little quiz that your clients can take for fun, and it's going to help them see if this is a good fit for them. So they get to answer these little questions, and they get to decide, what they want more. And I'm just going to go left and right today just for speed, but obviously your client would answer the questions, what was most important to them. They would click on it. And then they get to pick 3 interior features that are important to them. And they get to pick 3 exterior features that are important to them. And then they take those 6 features and rank them as what is most important, just going up and down. And then their quiz is done. You're probably wondering, like, well, who cares? Well, this is what happens after they've taken that quiz. Ooh, hold on, what does it say? Start exploring. After they've taken that quiz, then you see how there's a number that popped up on each of these results? Low match, 50%. That's saying, based on how they answered the quiz, this property is a 50% match. This property is a 64% match. It just kind of helps them say, oh, this might be a good fit. Now, here's what I think is really cool about that is you, the real estate agent, if I can find my way back to Matrix here, you get to see that same information. So let's go back to Lisa's. I'm in Matrix now. I'm out of One Home. But now I can see in Matrix. So here's that search that we sent her. Now you have this column in here called property fit, and you get to see those scores. So it's one way of that collaboration that you have with your client when they're in One Home using the tools, how you can collaborate with them and see them in Matrix. It's a great tool. This is where one of y'all, I forget which class I was in back in June, we chatted about this. And we talked about if you had a client set up on concierge mode, well, then you could only send them if it's like a 60 or above. One way to whittle down those concierge mode. So that's a fun little tool that we have in One Home. Another little tool that they're able to do is to send notes and stuff to you. So let me just click on one. So if they wanted to add a note about a property, that keeps popping up one. And then and it would be sent to you. Remember we talked about portal notifications and how I want to know when my clients send me a note? This is when I want to know they send me a note. I want that text message on my phone that says, hey, Lisa sent you a note. Go look at it. They can also schedule an appointment, or not an appointment, but schedule a showing. Not really schedule a showing. That's misleading. They can request a tour, request a showing. This comes to you as a fancy note. Stop that. Like on their end, they're basically saying, let's do it tomorrow, 2024. And it's saying, here are available times. Request a tour. So they're like, hey, I'm letting my agent know I want to see it on these days at this time. It did not schedule anything. It doesn't coach, it doesn't call showing time or anything like that. What you see on your end is you're going to get a notification. Let me go back to your homepage. So you see how now we have our one home visitors. Lisa's left me a note. And notes are always connected to a property. And so I see, oh, I like this one. I would like to visit. Da, 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 da. So that's where you see it on your end. Again, going back with that collaboration. And sure, I will. Now, I would tell you, respond in the system and pick up the phone and call. Because that guarantees that you've kept a record of it in the system. And it's guaranteeing that customer service of I'm reaching out to my client or text your client or whatever, because within one home, they don't get a notification sent to their phone or anything like that. The only way that clients in one home know that you've sent something back to them is that little bell will have a little dot. And I don't know why it didn't come through. I did save that, didn't I? Anyway, I would just say it's always best practice to over communicate with your clients in that instance. And so those are some of the fun little tools we have in One Home. They can come in and make their own new search. And so they can just start typing in location, what the property type, what they're looking for. They can fill all this out. It's not a robust search like you have access to, but it's got all the things that more than likely they're going to search for. And then they can apply it and they have their new search. If they save it, you get to see it. So these are just fun things that they can do within One Home. I'm going to log into a different one that has more stuff going on. Let's go to Rosie Jones. Oops. Well, I say I'm going to do that. Let me double check. It would help if my memory would allow me to remember all these email addresses. Now I can remember the password because it's the same one for every single one of my clients. Then you can see in Rosie. Well, that is. Okay, you see how the branding changed? Okay, that's different. Oh, okay. Sorry, guys. I've logged in. I'm just like, what's going on? I've logged in under one of the features that they can have is, let me show you this, manage account. Clients can have more than one real estate agent. They can manage it here in One Home. That SSO, that's a test account. That's a different thing. But she wants me. So for instance, this is really helpful if you have referral partners in other parts of the country. Let's say you have clients that are looking for properties in Florida. They can have a Florida real estate agent, they can have a North Carolina real estate agent. As long as both agents are using Matrix and using One Home, the client still only has to have one home account. And they can see from both agents. They just have to come in and pick which agent they're looking for. And then when they go back to their homepage, now she's going to see the results from Laura, not from the test. And you can see all of her different results that she has made. One Home is truly putting for the consumer everything in one location where they can save it. Any of the searches, no matter how many searches they have made, let me pop back over here. You can see how she has all of these saved searches. Anytime she makes a favorite, it doesn't matter from which search she's looking at. All of her favorites will always pop up under My Properties, keeping it very easy for them to keep all of their information together. And then we even have a planner tool where they can read through. We have a buying mode, like how to buy your house. We have a selling mode, steps of selling your house, just another little tool they can look through. Okay, yes.
How did your client get access to this?
To One Home?
Yeah.
The very first email that's ever sent is what gives them the access to it. So remember, here's back to Lisa's very first email. So the very first time, so you've sat down with our new client, Lisa. We say, hey, Lisa, I've set you up on this search. You're going to get an email from me. This is the email that she got. It welcomes you to One Home. One Home is the portal that you're going to view all your property through. So once they have that initial email and they click onto it, that's what connects them the first time. From that point forward, they can always go back to your email and click on that link, or they can go to onehome.com and log in. All right. I know we're near the end of our time. Is there any other questions? Yes, ma'am. Okay, so I've got way too many tabs. Let me get rid of some of these tabs. That is going to be a definition from your MLS. So when you have, Linda,
Pending AV under contract that they're accepting back. Pending or not accepting back. And I don't know. Contingency, that I'm not sure what that's referring to specifically.
So pending is not all encompassing the being accepting backup, or pending AV is only. Pending AV, I understand is accepting backups, but is pending also including the backup, or is that completely separate pending category? I guess I'm not sure if pending and all things that are pending.
Yes.
But if you have, say, 100 pending, but 10 of those are accepting backups, are all 100 included, or just the 10 excluded, you only have 90 that are showing up?
I'm not sure on that. I don't think I've ever tried to search that way, so I'm not certain on that.
when you guys are doing your listings and you have to change the status, like you go from active to is pending your next status. Like if you haven't, like if you've accepted an offer, we call it option period. So in Texas, you're in your option period. I don't know what it's called in North Carolina, but what does that look like to you as a listing agent? What do you have to change it to? Okay, so like for us, contingent would be like whatever the option period is. After option, then you go to pending. Is that kind of how it works here? Okay, yeah, kind of like that. Yeah, during that. So I would say, that's why I was just wondering are these labels connected to something that a listing agent status has put in? And I don't know, but we give you the system to put in the information that you all that have available. Okay, anything else? Do note that if you ever have any questions in the upper right-hand corner, we have the answer link phone number. Please call them. And that's not just with Matrix. That's for One Home. That's for Realist. That's for the app. Anytime you have questions, you can call this answer link button or number. That is just for you. And also we have on the dashboard, remember we have the Matrix Learning Lab, you can go here for different videos that you can watch to learn about the different products as well. So if you're, it's a rainy Saturday and you don't have anything to do and you want to learn about One Home, go watch a video, or you want to learn about Realist, go watch a video. Okay. I will say I will answer all your questions if we are done. I have nothing else to present to you other than, just if you guys have questions, I'm here to answer them for you.
Thank you.
You're welcome. So I appreciate y'all coming out. Hopefully this was useful. Now go get listings.